On a freezing winter day, the last thing you'd think to do is throw open the windows. We spend so much effort keeping the cold out, so why let it in? Yet, during the Second World War, people discovered a counterintuitive trick. A quick blast of cold air could actually make a room feel warmer. This wasn't just a quirky habit, it was practical science, born from necessity when every bit of heat mattered. The real enemy of warmth wasn't always the cold outside, but the damp, stale air trapped inside. This method, known as Stoßlüften or shock ventilation, was a daily ritual for families and soldiers alike. They learned that a brief, decisive airing could transform a clammy, cold room into a cosy haven. Today, we rely on technology and forget these simple hands-on tricks. But opening a window to get warmer is a paradox that still works, and it's time to rediscover it. Before central heating, keeping warm was a daily challenge. The hearth or stove was the heart of the home, creating a small bubble of comfort. Old houses breathed, drafts and gaps meant air was always moving, managing moisture, but letting in the cold. People adapted. They wore layers, used heavy curtains, and rationed fuel carefully. Fires were banked at night, and mornings began with reviving the embers. Warmth was precious, and every bit of heat had to count. In this world, shock ventilation made perfect sense. It wasn't about wasting heat, but about making the heat you had work better. A stuffy, damp room resisted warmth, so people actively managed their environment. They partnered with their homes, constantly adjusting for comfort. These old techniques are still relevant even in our modern insulated houses. To understand why opening a window helps, you need to know about humidity, the invisible thief in your home. Humid air holds more energy, making it much harder to heat than dry air. Imagine heating two saucepans, one with air, one with water. The air heats instantly, the water barely warms. Your damp room is like that pan of water. Everyday life adds moisture, breathing, cooking, showers, drying laundry. In modern sealed homes, this moisture has nowhere to go, making the air feel clammy and cold. Damp air draws heat from your body and makes your heating system work overtime. That's why a damp cold feels so much worse than a dry cold, even if the temperature is the same. The humid air clings to you, sapping warmth and comfort. Your radiator fights a losing battle against this moisture. The result? Rooms that feel chilly and uncomfortable no matter how high the thermostat. Humidity is the unseen culprit making your home harder to heat. But there's a simple fix. A quick air exchange can tip the balance back in your favour. Enter shock ventilation, a simple, powerful solution. The goal isn't to cool the room, but to swap out the damp, stale air for fresh, dry air in just a few minutes. Turn off the heating, throw the windows wide open, and if possible, create a cross-draft. Let the cold air rush through for 3 to 5 minutes. Cold winter air may feel damp, but it actually holds far less moisture than your indoor air. When you close the windows and turn the heat back on, you're now warming dry air. Much easier and faster to heat. The room feels fresher, the warmth is more pleasant, and the clammy chill is gone. It's a small, decisive act with a big impact. No more stuffy, hard-to-heat rooms, just clean, comfortable warmth, thanks to a blast of winter air. Won't opening the windows make everything in the room cold? Surprisingly, no. The air changes quickly, but your walls, floors and furniture, full of stored heat, barely cool down in those few minutes. Dense materials like plaster and wood act as thermal batteries, holding onto warmth. When you close the windows, these surfaces immediately start radiating heat back into the room. The new dry air warms up fast, helped by the thermal mass of your home. You're not starting from scratch, you're topping up a room that's already warm at its core. The result? A room that feels cozier, faster, without wasting energy. Shock ventilation gives you all the benefits of dry air, without the penalty of a cold room. Modern homes are sealed tight, trapping moisture and making air quality suffer. A simple hygrometer can help you monitor humidity. Aim for 40 to 60%. When it creeps higher, don't just turn up the heat. Open the windows wide for 3 to 5 minutes. Create a through draft if you can, then close up and turn the heating back on. You'll notice the difference immediately. Fresher air, faster warmth, and a cozier feel. Make this a daily or twice daily habit, especially in the morning and evening. It prevents condensation, reduces mold risk, and flushes out pollutants. Best of all, it costs nothing but a few minutes. You're not just making your home warmer, you're making it healthier. Take control of your comfort with this time-tested trick. It's a small act with big rewards. In a world of smart thermostats and high-tech solutions, old wisdom still matters. Shock ventilation is a legacy of ingenuity, simple, effective and sustainable. It connects us to the past and gives us control over our comfort. Try it yourself. Next time your home feels cold and damp, reach for the window latch, not the thermostat. You'll feel the difference and revive a tradition that's as relevant now as ever. Lower bills, less energy use, and a cozier home are within reach. Honour the resourcefulness of those before us. Sometimes the simplest solutions are the most powerful.